evening and welcome to part 2 of our draft picks and looking back on the board. I'm joined again by Everett and, of course, as usual, by Craig. Hi, guys.
What's happening? What's happening?
Evening, Johnny.
So, obviously, we might not be as long as we were last week. That took a bit of a while, but if we try and cut it down to about 25
we'll skip through my wee bit quicker this week.
Yeah, 20 to 25
You know
minutes.
what we're looking for now?
2 hours. Of course, we'll be starting with the first division, and obviously Everett will have to go through his own team to see how we get on, because this is the one with the old timers to start. So we'll start off with Happy Valley. And then where are you, Everett? There we are. There you go. Talk through your team.
So, of course, I went with the Jamar Chase Burrow stack. So when one scores, they both score. Of course, you can't miss with Kenneth Walker. As long as he's healthy, he's good. Najee Harris with the new offensive coordinator. I believe they got Arthur Smith in Pittsburgh now, so he should be getting a good workload. I don't care if they're 30 and 31. Adams and Evans have at least one more year. This is their year to show that they are still great. Ferguson, of course, he definitely he should finish top 10 tight end with what they got going on. Coleman, hopefully wide receiver 1 in Buffalo. This should be another decent year for Elliott. I think this is the first time I saw, well, compared to last year, I picked IDPs earlier. And of course, Goff, you can't miss the Goff.
I do like your 2 picks there in the IDPs. It's they're points machines, they're tackle machines.
And I didn't have to pick them too early. I think it was like around the middle, probably maybe 9 or 10 or something like that. I waited. Yeah. And I'm telling you, I was scared because I got Walker and then Harris, and I didn't know when I was going to get more running backs. And then I saw Ford and Robinson still there. I was like, yeah, I got to grab them. Because with Nick Chubb out, we don't know if he's going to be anywhere near what he used to be with the injuries he's been. It's hard to bounce back. I think he's turning. And then Robinson, I think he'll still be not so much the bell cow, but he'll get his touches like he did last year. And then I rounded it out with some rookies that have some promise, with Johnson, Sanders, and Polk.
I do like what you've done there, Everett. I've got to say, I like what you've done there. Polk has got tremendous upside as well. That bet. If Adams or Evans, if one of those two do happen to fall off, if one of them, in their 30s, not get the best quarterbacks maybe thrown at them, etc. If one of them was to fall off, you do have the cover there on the bench to cover that, So, and obviously both have got tremendous upside because both are, 1,000-yard receivers year in, year out, so why wouldn't it be again? So, yeah, I like what you've done there.
And obviously, and his
must be delighted about the Warren injury as well. What about the Warren injury for Harris?
Yeah, so that's even more for Harris. That's more workload for him. I told you we're gonna see Harris from his rookie season. It's gonna be a good year for him.
Maybe a good year for him. And here's Kirkwall Cowboys. What have they done, Johnny? Let's run down that one quickly. So you've got Mahomes there, and then Barkley,
Smith, Godwin, Lockett, Andrews, Warren. Obviously, he's going to miss him. Sinnott,
that's a big man.
Parsons, Singleton. He's got Tua, Shipley, Vidal, Wilson, McMillan, Otton, and Pace is a bit screwed for running back.
It worries me a wee bit there. I'm not, Godwin and Lockett. That's a dodgy starting lineup for me. And then Warren obviously got to go out. Who's coming in to replace him? That's I can see what he's. Wilson. I like Wilson this year. I think Wilson's going to do very well. Wide receiver 2 in Arizona. I think he'll do quite well. But he's going to be starting. I would think with Warren being injured here.
In fact, he's got Barkley and Shipley both from the Philadelphia running backs, so he's only got 5 running backs, 2 for the same team, and 1's injured. So he's a bit iffy.
Light there.
I'm not sure Vidal, if he does take over, will be taken over by week 5 or whatever it is when Pittsburgh have the bye.
No, I don't think so. So yeah, that's
He's got his shopping.
there's some good, very good pieces to that pie as well, though. You know, I think Smith's going to have a great season. You know, Mixon and Barkley at running back. There's no reason why both of them shouldn't go really well this year. You know, so there is there is upside there as well. You know, but yeah,
And Andrews, if he stays healthy, he's good.
Whereas Everett, I feel, looks very strong. You know, the bench looks really strong. That could be the Giants starting tight end right there. You know, Carolina starting tight end right there. And then you've got that could be the New England number one. You know, it's tremendous upside on that bench. You know.
Yeah, he's got a good team. Maybe hoping to do one better than
See the
last year.
next one then. Everett, you're leading so far. If that makes you happy.
So we've got the Yeovil winners by Dan Smith. You've got Kyler Murray, Bijan Robinson, Devin A. Chain, Michael Pittman, Tank Dell, Jaden Reed, Travis Kelsey, Brock Bowers, Xavier Worthy, Tyler Bass, Terrell Leonard, Levante David. And in Gothburg
I love
Rangers, you've
that
got
starting
Jalen
lineup.
Hurts.
I've got to say.
That is a good start lineup. You've got Jalen Hurts, James Cook, Alvin Kamara, AJ Brown, Chris Olave, Calvin Ridley, Pat Fryermuth, Ramondre Stevenson, Brian Thomas, Jaime Fairbairn, Antoine Minfield, and Al Shire. Al-Aziz
Yeah,
Shire, is it?
I
Something
have.
like that? Yeah.
Yeah, I've got him in my team as well. I've picked him up too for Houston. Yeah, so I mean, see, I love that starting lineup on the left. I really do. There's no holes in it for me. I love H.A. If he's fit, he's a fantasy cheat code. Love Kyler at quarterback. You know, I'm going from everywhere. Bijan, you know, great. I don't see the hole in that starting lineup. Obviously, I need to see the bench. But see on the right hand side there, I have to say, see Pat Fryermuth. I am officially declaring myself out on Pat Fryermuth. Honestly, I'm out. I can't be more out. I've decided that you don't know what the quarterback situation is there. Neither of them are looking particularly good. You know, he's not been that great of late. His last couple of years, you know, I mean, PP, you know, the 30th best tight end. He's going a lot higher than that. He's getting drafted higher than that again. You know, I know he was the 8th best tight end in 2022, but I don't see any. I'm out. I'm out on Fryermuth. So yeah, that puts me off the right hand team.
I like how I
Well,
mean I like both teams look good, and I will say, as much as I don't like to say this because of what happened last year, the defending champs I like his wide receiver core looks good with Olave, Ridley, who
Yes,
else is
I do like that wide receiver core. As I say, I like the
AJ
team.
Brown.
I like a
oh
lot
AJ
what it's done.
Brown, yeah, and
I
then
love that it's stacked.
Kamara's
AJ Brown.
He's got your man
AJ
Brian
Brown and
Thomas as well.
Hurts, yeah he's got
He's
I
got
think he
got
Thomas
started.
that.
Did
in
he
there as
not
well. You
start?
know.
Did he not start AJ Brown and Hurts as his 1-2 pick? Just with the AJ Brown stack. I can't remember not seeing the
Was
draft
that his
board. But
starting picks? Was it? That would
I'm
make
not
sense.
sure.
That's kind of where he was going, though.
Somebody definitely did start Brown and Hurts, but I can't remember if it was this
Yeah, I
one
mean
or
it's a
obviously the
great
draft
stack,
board.
and it's the receiving core. I'm very, very, very in on Calvin Ridley this year. I think Ridley's going to have a great season. I think
Oh yeah,
Levis has got a bomb of an arm, and I think Ridley will be the one who's most benefiting from it. So I'm all in on Ridley this year. I know you love Thomas Everett, yeah.
yeah. Thomas is he's promising it, and from what I've heard, and on a few of like the on the Jag site where it's going to be a lot of two wide receiver sets with Thomas and Gabe Davis, and I don't know what their plans are for Christian Kirk.
Yeah, that's. I mean, Christian Kirk that used to play in the slot and over in Arizona, didn't he? Quite a bit. So you know, he could maybe be the guy that fits in the slot.
Yeah,
Let's see these benches again, Johnny. Sorry, and I love Brock Bowers as well. I'm in on Brock Bowers. I think they're just going to find a way to get him the ball. That's another worry I've got for Adams. That I think Bowers is going to get a lot of the ball. So I mean,
But the
the
shot,
cover on the left, I'm not the biggest fan of. You know, I mean Mitchell should do okay. You know, but
Franklin too. Franklin should be all
yeah,
right.
Franklin as well, maybe. But
Oh, he got
Shaheed as
Shaheed
well. I'm
too,
quite
yeah.
happy with Shaheed. Yeah, Shaheed too,
Yeah.
right enough. Yeah, no, that's good cover. Yeah, it's the running backs. It's not very well covered. Then I would say, because obviously Lloyd's hurt, and Spears will get his touches. He'll do fine, but I just can't get on board with Kendrick Miller.
No, you need pork with that.
And on the right hand side, I mean, Madison. Is Madison even been talked about over there in Las Vegas? I forget that he's even there. It's I'm not sure how relevant he's going to be, but if something happens to Zamir White, then he'll have to step up, won't he? So it's not the worst person to be having sitting on your
Right.
bench. Gus Edwards, I mean that like, he's a starting running back, really, isn't he? So yeah, I mean,
Oh, for now, yeah.
and I'm hearing the word coming out of New Orleans that they're going to be getting Hill the ball. He's going to be setting up as a proper gadget player all over the pitch again. So
Did he not? He scored a
he'll have
rushing
his
touchdown at
weeks.
the weekend. I'm pretty sure.
He'll definitely have his weeks where he'll score very highly, but the problem with him is he'll have his weeks where he scores absolutely zero.
I don't know with Harbaugh, they're gonna be a lot of running. So it's gonna be a committee backfield. So it's not like he's gonna, like you said, there'll be weeks where he scores a lot, and then there'll be weeks where he won't.
Yeah,
It'd probably Dobbins scoring more, or who's the rookie?
Vidal.
Yeah, Kimani Vidal.
Yeah. So it'll be
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as Edwards and Dobbins stay fit, then Vidal will be not involved. It's a case of Edwards and Dobbins never stay fit, so that's how Vidal's going to get in there. I'm very big on Vidal. I've got him in a lot of dynasties, so I'm hoping he gets in there.
This is a good one. You've got the Kirkwall Raiders. Kirkwall Raiders, Allen. He's got Jaden Daniels, Rashad White, James Conner, Tyreek Hill, Marvin Harrison, DJ Moore, Samir White, Raheem Mostert, Harrison Butker, Lucan and Smith. And on the Wagner Regis side, you've got Jordan Love, Travis Etienne, Josh Jacobs, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins, David Njoku, Javonte Williams, Romeo Dubes, Brandon Aubrey, Fred Warner, and Jordan Brooks. So two pretty strong lineups.
My first thought out of these two teams is the one on the right here. Who's that? Sorry, go up a little bit, Johnny.
Wagner Regis Falcons.
Wagner Regis Falcons, yeah. There's quite a few unhappy players in that team there, You've got, Ayuk looking to get traded, Lamb wanting a contract, not happy sitting out, Higgins wanting a contract, not really happy that he's been tagged. A lot of unhappy players there,
But face value, they face value. It's a nice lineup.
Absolutely. But Lamb's not taking the field yet. Ayuk's annoyed that he's not got. He's actively chasing a trade, and Higgins. Well, Higgins is playing by all accounts, isn't he? He's in now. I like Jaden Daniels. He could be. I mean, the potential there, the ceiling there is absolutely massive. It's one of those ones though. The floor's really, really low. So you need him to be running a lot and getting a lot of points that way, because that's how kind of a rookie quarterback really does make his point, isn't it? So with his legs and movement and.
You don't want to end up like Robert Griffin, who got injured diving for a touchdown against the Giants, and he's never really the same again. So you want him running, but you don't want him to do something stupid. So again, he was on fire until that happened. But again, I'd like to see him do well. So
it's a guy's game though. He's got to be going with his feet. So the ceiling is high, but the floor is low. And then but White and Conner and Hill and Harrison, I think they're pretty solid. All solid, going to score points. DJ Moore too. I mean, I know that I keep saying it, and I still believe it. There's someone's not going to get fed in Chicago. I just think that someone's going to be Keenan Allen. I think
that's the same thing I'm thinking.
He's the one that's
I agree.
Well, they just paid DJ Moore the big bucks as well. So
Yeah,
won't be wanting
absolutely, and he is a
to-
bona fide number one, and you've seen that when Williams has played in pre-season, he's went for, Moore's got a few catches in pre-season from
Yeah.
Williams. He is his first look, he's his first goal, but I can see Roma Dunze becoming the second look. Williams has got no affiliation with Allen. It's not like it's not like Allen's got a big affiliation with the Chicago Bears. He's just came in at the same time, so he's expendable, Allen. If whereas they've got a big investment in Odumze, they've got a big investment in Moore, and that's how I can quite easily see Allen being the mouth that isn't fed type thing.
So here's the benches. So the Kirkville Raiders have got Kirk Cousins, Roshan Johnson, Deneric Prince, Jalen Wright, McCaffrey, Josh Palmer, Joshua Downs, and Isaiah Likely. And the Falcons have got Trevor Lawrence, Jaleel McLaughlin, Chuba Hubbard, Xavier Leggett, Donna Mooney, Jalen Hyatt, Cole Kmet, and Greg Dulcich. Which actually I quite like the deal.
I know they both got two good benches. Well,
yeah, they do.
Well, like when you get down to like Palmer, Downs, and Likely, and I feel Likely is gonna hurt Andrews' production because they will use Likely more this year. Then you look on the other side. I'm big on Kmet this year. Darnell Mooney can have a bounce back because Rondell Moore's out for the season, and Xavier Leggett could be the easy wide receiver 2 in Carolina if he if he does more than Adam Thielen.
Yeah,
and
I like
he should do because Adam Thielen's old. You know what? A pickup that I love as well. I love the Joshua Palmer pickup. I have to say, he's going so late in drafts, and I know that they've got a few receivers there but he's already got a relationship with Herbert. He already knows the offense. I know it's a new coach, so I guess it's a new offense. But they've got that relationship already. I think Joshua Palmer could have a very, very good season this year, provided Herbert stays fit, obviously. And where you get them in drafts, I think he's a great pickup. He could be a difference maker. Certainly a player that you could plug in and be relatively comfortable that you've got him in your starting lineup.
Oh yeah, I think he's definitely the wide receiver 1. Everyone talks about Ladd McConkey, but he plays the slot. Josh Palmer is going to be an outside guy. That's going to be a deep threat.
Yeah, so I like both. I agree with both of you. I like both these benches. I'm not massive on Hubbard this year, I've got to say. I mean, I get that bringing him in and he's going to be the starting running back, but I think once Brooks gets fit, he's going to become more and more irrelevant. And and that's towards the end of the season when playoffs are coming round, and there's nothing worse than having a player who's done you okay, but he's not going to get there, and you've got to find something else instead. So that's what kind of puts me off Hubbard this year. Just that I think his production's going to go downhill as the season goes on.
Cool. Well, next up we'll go the Darlow Destroyers against the South London Rebels. South London Rebels are the ones that won the Rousey Cup last year.
All right.
So the Darlow Destroyers are Lamar Jackson, Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DK Metcalf, Christian Kirk, Trey McBride, Rasheed Rice, David Montgomery, no kicker, E. Jones and Nick Bolton, and Rebels have got CJ Stroud, Derek Henry, Devin Singletary, Jameson Williams, Garrett Wilson, Nico Collins, Evan Ingram, Deontay Johnson, Puka Nacua, Jake Elliott, Bobby Orike, and Kaiser White. So 2 pretty strong teams again. But this is the first division, so you've got to expect a lot of strong teams.
Yeah, I mean the Rasheed Rice thing, where I stand on that, but I mean he's going in like the 8th round, and I get the whole point of nothing's been said, nothing's happened yet. I just cannot imagine that he's not going to get a suspension at some point this season. If it pushes into next, then he's an absolute steal in the 8th round. But it's what worries me for Darlow's Destroyers as well, having Brown plugged in as a running back starter. That makes me worry what's on the bench.
Yeah.
Henry and Singletary. Singletary's the starting running back at the end of the day. There's, it just is. So it might be a horrible, but it might be a pick that makes you feel a bit dirty. But he's a good pick, and he should have the production there in New York.
I think Jameson Williams is so hit or miss. Jameson Williams, I think he's hit or miss.
He is dividing, and he's dividing people, isn't he? In the sense of, I think this might be his year. You know, this might be his breakout year. Let's not forget it was an eighth pick. Was it eighth pick in the draft or something? And he needs to break out now. That's the thing, you know. If he
Yeah.
doesn't do it this year, he's not going to get there. But I think he might be okay. Another one that I'm getting a bit warmer on this season again is Evan Ingram. He's sneaking up in my estimations. He really is. I think, you know, he was sneaky good last year, and he very much could be again this year.
He's sneaky good every year.
Yeah.
I'm getting cold on Puka. I've got to say, I'm getting cold on Puka, and two quarterbacks on the bench is wasting spots for me.
So yeah, so on the Dallas Destroyers, we've got Justin Fields, Bucky Irvin, Tyron Tracy, Ty Chandler, Lad McConkey, Robinson, Jalen Tolbert, Davian Wicks, and Goddard. And Tony's got Gino, Matt, Braylon Allen, Trey Benson, Rico Dowdle, Tyler Algier, Jermaine Burton, and Hunter Henry.
On the right side, I
average.
like Jermaine Burton a lot. I'm
Yeah,
just
that's a
not a
good one.
fan
Yes.
on having handcuffs taking up all your bench spots.
That is a
Oh,
lot.
me neither. I think now in this day and age, the day of the handcuff in the running back is kind of gone, because the day of the bell cow running back is gone. You know, sometimes you go for these handcuffs, and the guy who's sitting on your bench as a handcuff is going to score more points than the guy you start. You know,
Yeah.
numerous weeks because they get a lot of touches now. You know, and they only need to break one out. So I'm not a fan of handcuffing now either, unless it is an absolute genuine bell cow number one and a number two, like for example, Brees Hall and Brandon Allen. You know, Allen will
Yeah.
be irrelevant if Hall stays fit. So that's kind of one that I don't mind. But yeah, I
And
don't
Trey
like
Benson's the
bell
same
cowing.
way. You have Trey Benson because you know something's gonna happen to Connor for a few games out the season.
Yeah, but Benson's. I don't even think Benson is the second. That's the thing. It's he is just so far down the pecking order still at the in Arizona, and he's not done anything to show me otherwise. You know, I think that DeMarcaro's going to be in front of him. I'm very very cold on Benson for this year, I have to say. But what I do love on the left hand, the team in the left here, who's the team in the left again, Johnny?
The Dallas Destroyers.
The Dallas Destroy. Yeah, I love that they've got Justin Fields on the bench. For me, that's how you pick up a quarterback for your bench. One with tremendous upside if he gets in, and there's every chance that he'll get his chance at some point along the way, you know. And if he starts, you know, his legs are cheat codes as well. So if he gets in and keeps it, that could be a championship winning move, you know, because by the time the end of the season comes, he could be running for 30 points a game, you know, easily. So
Well,
I love
according to
that pickup, and
it's
I
Boston
love
not struggling
Dontavian
anyway,
Wicks.
so yeah, we all like Dontavian Wicks, but yeah, Russell Wilson's struggling, is he not? So you might get him
Oh,
quicker than you
he
think.
seems to be. To be fair, Justin Fields has been struggling as well, though, you know. So yeah, I like what Dallas Destroyers got on the bench. So the South London Rebels, it's they had two quarterbacks on the bench. That's what throws me there.
So on the next one, we've got the Melbourne Supremacy by Team Trade Frenzy, and we've got the Whitford Educators by Dylan86. So Team Melbourne Supremacy have got Caleb Williams, Aaron Jones, Antonio Gibson, Justin Jefferson, Stefan Diggs, Malik Neighbours, Sam Laporta, Cooper Cup, Keenan Allen, Evan McPherson, Zaire Franklin, and Bobby Wagner. And the Whitford Educators were looking pretty good. Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey, apart from DeAndre Swift, Jalen Waddle, Zay Flowers, Jordan Addison, George Kittle, Austin Eckler, Khalil Shakir, Greg Zerline, Darrell Dobson, and CJ Mosley.
Yeah, I mean, well, for me here, I'm cold on the one. I'm very very cold. I mean, Gibson is a starting running back. It doesn't shout brilliant, you know. And I'm very very cold on Diggs. Come up again, Johnny, for me. I'm very very cold on Diggs this year. So as much as there's parts of that team that I really like, there's just too many that I'm cold on for me to to really like that one. I've got and on the right again. There's a lot of really good parts here. You know, Allen, McCaffrey, Waddle, Flowers. I like this year. I really do. But I couldn't be colder on Swift.
Yep.
I think Addison's that's the part that worries me on that side.
Very much so for me as well, Everett. Yeah, Addison worries me. Eckler as a starter worries me. You know.
So you got Gibson on the left side. I mean Gibson, Allen,
Diggs, Allen. Yeah.
I'm okay with Diggs.
You know,
I'm okay with Diggs. Only because of that
yeah.
offense, you know, I can't see Diggs falling off that much. And then, but
again, it's a mouse to be fed thing for me with Diggs again. It's a mouse to be fed thing because Mixon's going to get his touches as well, and Dell and Collins, they've got a relationship.
We can't forget Schultz.
Already.
Dalton Schultz is out there too.
Yeah, he was looking good in preseason against the Giants. Yeah.
Problem I've got there as well, the same as I have with Allen. I just, they're going to new teams that are already settled with.
So Dylan's got 3 quarterbacks.
So as much as there's a lot of good things on these teams, but there's neither of these will be my favourite for the title.
Yeah. So the Melbourne Supremacists have got Aaron Rodgers, J.K. Dobbins, Elijah Mitchell, Christian Watson, Quentin Johnston, and White, and the Whitford Educators have got Baker Mayfield, Justin Herbert, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Damian Pierce, Mike Williams, Chris Sutton, Luke Musgrove, and which one is it?
Cortland Sutton's a good one to have too.
Quincy Williams. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Cortland Sutton's a very good one to have. I couldn't agree more. And so is Mike Williams, by the way. If Rodgers is tossing it well, Mike Williams is a good catcher of the ball. If he can stay fit, he could do him well. But a couple of quarterbacks and Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the bench, I mean, that would worry me a little bit.
And Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I mean, I could have.
Swift is in there starting, so you've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Pierce to come in if Swift isn't doing it. That's a bit scary.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
So there's a lot to like about these teams again, but there's enough to put me off picking either of them, unfortunately.
And the last one, you'll recognise both these ones.
Here comes Aaron's, right? How did they?
The Royal Raiders and Graham still not changed the bloody team name.
I'll tell him I'm playing tennis with him tomorrow. I'll tell him. I'll tell
the Royal
him
Raiders. Tell him to change his bloody team and his logo. So you've got Anthony Richardson, Brees Hall, Isaiah Pacheco, Rick London, George Pickens, Roman Ducey, Kyle Pitts, Dalton Schultz, Zach Moss, Dicker the Kicker, Vic Crosby, and Aidan Hutchinson. And then Graham's got Dak Prescott, Jahmyr Gibbs, Kyron Williams, Deebo Samuels, Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin, Dalton Kincaid, Tony Pollard, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jake Moody, DJ Mott, and Myles Garrett.
Yeah, I think they've both done really well there. It's none of them are jumping out at me to say no. It's
they're real balanced. They're balanced. That's you have to have. So like we'll take old man's team. Debo, he's not. I don't want to say he's not consistent, but is all or nothing. Either you're gonna get 40 points out of him, or you're gonna get 8. And then I don't know. On the left hand side, I like the London, Pickens, or Dunze trio. They have a lot of upside with those 3 guys.
A lot of upside, but there's a lot of downside with those 3 guys as well. As my worry for Aaron's team, that's my son's team, the one on the left.
Oh, okay.
But my worry for it is that there is a tremendous upside in all 3 of those wide receivers, but there is also quite a bit of downside. Drake London wasn't brilliant last year. I know he had no one thrown to him. He's now got Kirk Cousins, but there is other mouths to feed there as a little bit. You've got Kyle Pitts and stuff there as well. He's not going to be getting nothing. With Pickens disappointed, and I know again he's not had the quarterback, but has he got the quarterback this year? He's the number one this year, not the number two when Johnson was there. But time to step up with what looks like is going to be a bad quarterback, and then Roma Dunze's got a rookie quarterback and a lot of mouths to feed, so he could be the one that kind of misses out this year. So it kind of there is floors there as well, and Kyle Pitts has got a floor as well. He's tight end, so
And
yeah.
Terry McLaurin, he's him and Daniels. That should be Terry McLaurin. If Daniels plays like we know he can play, especially if he plays that at this level, McLaurin would definitely be a top 15 wide receiver.
100%, because you've seen him do it with nobody. You've seen him do it with Sam Howell. You've seen him do it with whoever was there before Sam Howell. So
Right.
no, if Daniels is decent, then of course why wouldn't Terry McLaurin be a really good pick? I think that's a fantastic pick. And I mean, I'll do like what they've both done, but let's see their benches, because that's a big selling point. So
Aaron's gone for
Hollywood.
Herbert, Charbonnet, Hollywood, Judy, Dotson, Robinson, Okonkwo, and Bosa.
I like that. I like those receivers and those two running backs on the bench. Those are.
Hollywood being injured worries me.
Yeah, but
if he can give you 4 or 5 games, that's all coming off your bench,
Absolutely, yeah. No, that's the thing, isn't it? He's maybe a stash for the play. You certainly don't put him to agency. That's the thing, he'll be hoovered up from there, no problem.
Yeah.
And the other side, you've got Purdy, Davis, Estime, Coram, Mason, Cooks, Davis, and Hamilton. So obviously he's got Coram.
I like Davis and Cooks. And like I said, I could see him having Coram because he has Kyron Williams.
Yeah.
But that's an obvious handcuff.
Yeah. There's no need to have Mason. I mean, he's CMC have to be out for the year before you see Mason or Mitchell. And Mitchell's
I think Mason one of those last minute. Do you know what I think Mason was there for Graham? That was our last round. Mitchell's injured. When it was getting drafted, Mitchell was injured. They were talking about Mason. He just had a good first game.
Yeah.
I think that's why Mason's there. Mason's is his agency fodder. From week one. Whoever does the best in week one, you go for an agency. And Mason's who he's going to be dropping. Yeah, I like both of these teams, I've got to say. So can I take my own son's team as my favourite? I don't think so. But so can I take Everett's team as my favourite? Because I think I'm my favourite, I've got to say. Because I love the bench.
I told you, I had to do some soul searching after losing by 2 points to the Gothenburg Angels last year, and I looked at my team, and my bench wasn't as strong last year when I had to cover some bye weeks. So
I'm taking Everett's team, Johnny.
You're taking Everett's team. Yeah.
Titans.
Between them and Darlow Destroyers, I can't decide which one I want to go for.
Yeah, I did like Darlow Destroyers as well, I've got to say.
Yeah, Destroyers look good.
I'll go for the Destroyers. So, who are you going to go for? You going for yourself, Everett?
Of course, I'm gonna go for myself. But if I had to pick somebody that wasn't me, I'd like to see the Gothenburg Angels defend their title, preferably against me, so I can redeem myself. But I like what he did with his team. I like what he did with his team.
Yeah, it was a high scoring matchup with these ones throughout the season, so it was fun to watch.
Division 1. Division 1 looked at, Johnny. Let's see how Division 2 went.
So we've got Mays Howe. So we've got Daniel Lovett, that's Page's pal. And we've got Delboy Dexter, that's Derek, who's giving you grief all the last year on YouTube. So Lancashire Bombers, we've got Brock Purdy, Brees Hall, Travis Etienne, Brandon Ayuk, Michael Pittman, Keon Coleman, Brock Bowers, George Kittle, Led McConkey, Tyler Bass, Patrick Queen, Luke Wilson, and Derek Scott, Jared Goff, Jameer Gibbs, Kenneth Walker, Mike Evans, Cooper Kupp, Amari Cooper, Dalton Schultz, DeAndre Swift, Kobe Parkinson, Harrison Butker, Fred Warner, and Ernest Jones.
I tell you what, Craig, I agree with you when it comes to Swift because I was loving the right hand side until I saw Swift. I'm like, if he can plug somebody else there, I love the Goff, Gibbs stack, Cup, Cooper, Schultz. He has a great lineup there.
I couldn't agree. I could not agree more. I was thinking exactly the same thing as it was running
Kenneth
down,
Walker,
and then it got to Swift, and I thought, ooh, and then it got to Parkinson, and I thought, oh, if he's in the starting lineup, that can't be saying a whole lot for the bench, because I mean, Kobe Parkinson is not going to be a starting player in any fantasy team,
And then I like what I've seen on McConkey is I could see starting to flex, but let's go back up a little bit again, Johnny. Who was the other receivers? Coleman, I like Coleman. Coleman, Pittman, Ayuk. Okay.
Ayuk with the situation, just that worries me there, and Coleman could be anything could happen. It's, that I can pick bits of holes
I'm
in
gonna tell you
that.
what I think it is. I'm gonna tell you what I think it is. The fact that he turned down the other trades lets me know that he wanted to stay in San Francisco, and they just have to work out the numbers. So I'm not worried about Ayuk.
Absolutely, but San Francisco don't want to pay him. That's his problem. So it's a pretty big problem. If he wants paid, and San Francisco don't want to pay him. So,
and he also didn't have to play in the preseason. So it's probably it could be anything. You know how you say you got a tweaked ankle, so you don't got to play in the preseason.
Just use the course, it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Ayuk will be playing just fine by week one. I just worry about how fit he's going to be week one, and how long that's going to take to come. And these sit out. Sometimes it's a cold season that they have. That's what worries me about them more than anything. But I do like I like the fact that Worthy's on that bench to come in and cover.
I tell you what, I just smiled like crazy. Javonte Williams, Jerome Ford, Xavier Worthy. I mean, you can plug them in the starting lineup.
Mooney too. You can plug him in.
Yep.
Dotson's very much a sit and wait and see, but
he bounced back with his bench. This bench I like this bench. I like the bench.
I do like.
Well, he's only got one quarterback. So.
And there's Edwards can be plugged in as a starter. Lockett can be plugged in there over that Kobe Parkinson. So there is options there,
Right, yeah.
I don't hate a couple of defenders on the bench, just to give yourself the options there. I've got to say it's not the way I've went about it. I've got one on mine, but
I did that, so I got one.
Hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate that, giving yourself that option, but I just don't get why. But I think Baker Mayfield's a wasted spot on the bench because he sits in agency. So why, he'll literally be in agency. If you ever want to start Baker Mayfield, just go to agency and pick him up. Why waste a spot on your bench for him?
Yeah.
But there you go. And Hill's I think a good bench spot as well because, as they say, if you can pick the right games to plug him in, it could be the difference between winning and losing a game. I just worry that those points are going to get stuck on the bench more often than not.
Yeah, and then with Chubb out, I would definitely start Ford. I would start Ford over McConkey. I'd start him over McConkey. If I had to pick one.
Definitely. Ford's one that could be plugged in to start straight away as well, for sure. And do you know what? If you're not going to start Ford at the start, if you're not going to start Ford before Chubb's out, what's the point in drafting him?
Yeah. And I tell you what, Xavier Worthy, have you been seeing him in camp and in preseason?
Yeah.
He's been looking good there. He's been looking tidy, and anything that does happen to Rice, it's you think that he's ready to step up straight away, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would love to have some pieces of Worthy. I've got to say, I don't think I've got them anywhere, unfortunately. So let's look at the next two then, Johnny. Let's move on to the next two and shuffle along. So, who have we got here?
The Southampton Dockers against the South Carolina Broncos. That's Garrett. Is that your man?
That's my buddy Garrett right there.
So you've got Southampton Dockers. You've got Patrick Mahomes, Rashid White, James Cook, Puka Nakua, Stepan Diggs, T. Higgins, Cole Kmet, Samir White, Romeo Dubes, Greg Zerling, Quincy Williams, and Jordan Brooks. And Garrett's gone for Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, Aaron Jones, Stephen Samuels, George Pickens, Chris Godwin, Travis Kelce, Calvin Ridley, Cortland Sutton, Jake Moody, Micah Parsons, and Alex Anzalone. You can talk about your man there,
both of these sides. Yeah, I like both of these. I mean, I don't like Diggs on the left, and I'm cold on Diggs. I'm actually cold on Puka. Not that I think that he's going to have a bad season or anything like
Cup
that.
is healthy. That's why. With a healthy Cup, that hurts Puka. I know that.
Massively, and I think that I just don't see Puka having anywhere near the kind of season that he had last year. I think he'll have a good season. I think he'll be fine. But you're drafting him in the second round. Sometimes the first round, and I don't think he's going to be that high. I think he's been drafted at his absolute ceiling, which puts me right off him. So that kind of puts me off on the left there. But I like the spread on the right.
I like on the left side, the White and James Cook. Those are two good backs to have. They do everything. They catch out the backfield. They can run. Agreed. I'm a fan of Higgins. I like T. Higgins.
So do I.
I'm cold on him this year just because of the whole playing on the tag and stuff and not being happy. And it just it's a very tough division that, and it's not inconceivable to think that the Bengals could not start well, maybe be sitting 4-4 after 8 games or something like that.
Yeah.
And if they are, these guys that aren't happy, their toys start coming out the pram even more, so that kind of puts me off him. I'm always been cold on Godwin, so that's kind of the only one that I don't like on the right hand side here, though. I think that's a very good starting lineup. All starters, all right in there, and Godwin's a starter too. I'm not a fan.
And I know I've said this to like different people. I personally feel Romeo Doubs is the true wide receiver one in Green Bay. He's my favorite receiver on that team, and he's the most consistent one when it comes to being healthy.
He's definitely the wide receiver one on that team. The problem is that he's a wide receiver one, but there's a 1A and there's a 1B and there's a 1C. There's not a 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all going to get fed.
I can see Garrett has a running back issue on his squad. He just has Aaron Jones and CMC.
And McLaughlin and Algier and Miller. Oh, he's got Kendry. Maybe even listen to Pork.
I mean, McLaughlin might get his touches. I do think Williams is going to be the main man there, though, and I like Williams for where he's going. I think that he's a good pickup at the moment. TJ Hawkinson's a nice tuck-in, stick on, get him on, and you put him on IR too, and free up your spot again. And I think he's a great pickup because he's a kind of one that's going to be coming into it when the championship's been won and lost,
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes when you get a player back from IR like that at that stage, it's like getting a brand new superstar into your team. It can make such a difference.
Yeah, because there's a difference between being at your best mid-season and then where he's getting in his groove. Everyone else will be coming down. He'll just be hitting his stride.
It can make such a big difference, and I like Leggett there, and Algier, he'll get his touches. Bijan's not going to hog it all, and he's a very good back, Algier. So yeah, I picked him up in mine. I'm comfortable having him. So I do like the bench on the right here, but I've still not got my favourite team yet. I've got to say, because there was Godwin on one side and Diggs on the other there, so that rules those two out for me. I'm going to find one that's got no one that I can rule out,
So next up we have the Witcher Warriors, Dave Henderson, and Portland Lumberjacks, Daniel McGonigal. So the Witcher Warriors have got Jalen Hurts, Joe Mixon, Tony Pollard, AJ Brown, Keenan Allen, Brian Thomas, David Njoku, Jalen Warren, Mike Williams, Brandon Aubrey, or Bobby Ricky, and Fayose or Lucon. And then you've got McGonigal, you've got Jordan Love, David Achain, James Conner, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Monty Smith, Sam Laporta, Dalton Kincaid, Najee Harris, Myers, Quay Walker, and Coulson.
There you go. I found my favourite one now.
I think me and you thinking the same thing. So the Portland Lumberjacks were able to pull off Kyler Murray on the bench, and then they got Laporta and Kincaid. Did I see that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
You did.
And he got
And
three good receivers and Najee Harris.
And Naj.
Yeah, he's got a good team there.
That's massive.
I like the strategy there.
Yeah.
I like the strategy there.
What I don't like about it is having Murray on the bench with Love and starting. I just don't see the point of having the two of them, and it's just a headache that I wouldn't want, you know. But you know, it's a nice headache to have, I guess. But with a starting lineup like that, I'm not quite sure how he managed to do that. That's quite impressive. Let's see the benches again, Johnny. Yeah, the one on the right is, you know, you've got Mike Williams plugged in as a starting role. I don't get having Caleb Williams on the bench here either. I don't get either of these quarterbacks on the bench because both of those quarterbacks on the bench are going to score more than the starting quarterbacks, but you're never going to put them in. Well, you'll maybe put Kyler Murray in over Love, but you're never putting Caleb Williams in over Hurts. So why have him on the bench? It's, you know, it's just there to make you look silly when Williams goes and has a 40-point game. So yeah, that puts me off the team on the left for sure. But I'm loving the team on the right, and I'm loving the bench as well. I mean,
you see that? Reed, Wicks, Polk, Dobbins,
Dowdle as well.
Yeah,
the team on the right might be the favourite team I've seen so far out the whole lot. Who's this? That Portland Lumberjacks.
And Devin A-Chain and Connor. He put. How did they let him put that team together like that? I really like what he did there.
Who's on the bench for the running backs?
Trey Benson, Jalen Wright, J.K. Dobbins, Rico Dowdle.
So it is. He's got Dobbins and Dowdle there to plug in.
Yeah.
If one of them goes down. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, my cap to McGonigal. I think he's put together a very, very, very good team there.
He's also got Najee Harris in the flex. So he's got some nice running back.
Najee in the flex, yeah, that's right.
Oof, that's a scary team.
That's tough. Yeah, that's tough.
So next up, we've got I can't remember what Mark's team is called because there's no bloody changed it. And then the Belfast bench warmer. So you've got CJ Stroud, Ramondre Stevenson, Nick Chubb, Jamar Chase, Tank Dell, Curtis Samuel, Trey McBride, Devin Singletary, Khalil Shakir, Evan McPherson, Roquan Smith, and Devin Lloyd. Then you've got Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Isaiah Pacheco, DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, Jordan Addison, Cade Otton, Christian Watson, Jameson Williams, Justin Tucker, Tremaine Edwards, and Alex Singleton.
Well, for me on the left, if you've got Chubb already in your starting lineup, then that's a bit of an issue, you know, in terms of he's not starting. So who's on the bench? That kind of.
I think it's maybe not. Yeah, he's probably not started his team since the draft, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's it. If you're drafting Chubb up that high, then it's, you know, Chubb was a later pickup than that. So if you've drafted him enough for it to go straight into the starting lineup, and then you've got what's that Curtis Samuel there as well on there. Keep coming down a bit, Johnny, again. Sorry. Just to see the rest of that one because there was, you know, Singletary, I guess, can plug in right there, and you've got options. And on the right hand side, I'm very cold on Addison now. You know, with the quarterback situation there, I don't see how that many of them are going to get fed. I'm actually, it makes me more inclined to like Jones a wee bit more because I think they'll be running the ball to death, you know.
Oh yeah.
So, but it's made me very cold on Addison and Cade Otton. I couldn't be colder on, you know. He'll maybe have a week or two, but that scares me in the starting lineup as well. So those two starting lineups, I'm not
needs
jumping.
To go ahead and drop McCarthy and pick somebody else up. I like Judy. See, he can move Singletary to the other running back and put Jerry Judy in the flex.
Yeah, he can do, but that's pretty much the only option, you know, because he's got two quarterbacks sitting there, one of which is on IR, so that needs to go, and then a kicker on the bench as well, which is, it defines no point. But yeah, so I would say that the
Gabe
one on the left's
Davis.
got a bit of work to do, shall we say?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of either bench. They got some work to do.
Yeah,
Got three defenders on the
for
bench.
sure. It's Hunter Henry on the bench. I mean, again, Hunter Henry. Do you know Hunter Henry was tight end 1 and tight end 2 the first 2 weeks last year,
Yeah,
and then done
but
nothing
then
thereafter.
then they just pick up Mike Gesicki.
No, Mike
No, he's
Gesicki's
at the
at
Bengals.
Cincinnati.
He's in the okay.
They
I
had
thought he was in-
Gesicki last year in New England, but now
Oh,
he's at the
okay.
Had
Yeah,
Bengals.
yeah,
Gesicki last year. Yeah, that's right. I mean, Pearsall could be anything there at San Francisco. You know, it's one of those ones where if he gets his chances and he does well, they'll play him. You know, and it's a great offense to be a part of. So I absolutely get that pickup. But it could also be nothing this year. You know, it's Ray Davis the same. I mean, he could be absolutely nothing this year if Cook keeps going and Ty Johnson plugs in well enough. So yeah, no, the benches worry me here a little bit too. There is some goodness in both teams, but there's enough to say that Portland Lumberjacks is still my favourite.
There we go. So Dick and Heath Demons against the Glasgow Lightning, 3-1. So Dick and Heath Demons have got Dak Prescott, Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Devontae Adams, Malik Neighbours, Christian Kirk, Mark Andrews, Evan Ingram, Brian Robinson, Youngwei Koo, Al-Shaki Shair, Levante David, and then on Glasgow Lightning you got Anthony Richardson, Kieran Williams, Raheem Mostert, CJ Lamb, Chris Olabi, Nico Collins, Jake Ferguson, Zay Flowers, DeAndre Hopkins, Jake Elliott, Terrell Bernard, and Bobby Wagner.
I like these starter lineups. They're very balanced. There's a lot of firepower on these teams right here.
Yeah, I
I like.
mean, I agree that there are the names are there for me. Run me up, Johnny. I see the names again. Sorry. Glasgow Lightning. So Dreves' team here, Mostert obviously. I'm big on A-Chain, and I don't think you can be in on both, because I'm not. I know both get fed last year, but I'm just, Mostert, I'm kind of going off a little bit. I think he's getting on a little bit, and his best years are maybe behind him. And Lamb with the contract situation, I get the whole putting Lamb in, and I think he'll do absolutely fine, but it just puts me right off there. Someone who I'm getting a lot bigger on, a lot happier on is Malik Neighbours. I think he's just going to be the man in New York. I think they're going to get him the ball, and when he gets the ball, he'll get yards. So I think he'll do very well for the one on the left.
And to have Bijan and Jonathan Taylor, even though I know they say Richardson might couldn't, Taylor's efficient. So you have Taylor and
Yeah.
Bijan, and your running backs is good. Neighbors, what you just said. Adams is gonna get his. I mean, I like the two tight
Yeah,
end. I get scared to go two tight ends, but the way this is the second team that's done it are Andrews and Ingram. I like that. I like that stack there.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they get extra points for the catches, don't they? They get an extra half point for a catch. And, if you're plugging in tight ends who are effectively playing like wide receivers in the sense of their production and their target share, then get them in there because they get you extra points. And they are two of the top point scoring tight ends. So I have no issue with two tight end starts. I love a two tight end start. I'm not so sure I like the whole Ferguson and Lamb starting together though, because both ain't getting fed every week. If one's getting fed, the other one's maybe a little bit quieter, etc. So that kind of puts me off that kind of stack. I don't like two receivers from the same team. And Hopkins is I get it, it's Nook, but I'm cold on him this year. I think Ridley's going to do so much better.
There's your bench. You've got Jaden Daniels, Tyrone Tracy, Ty Chandler, Icy Baswood, Deontay Johnson, Rashad Bateman, Joshua Palmer, Rashid Shaheed.
That's a
And
great
on the other
bench.
side, Watson, Elliott, Moss, Hubbard, Myers, Kraft, Kendrick, Spillane.
I don't know. These benches they're kind of deep too. I mean, I
They're
like what
pretty
they're
good,
doing here.
actually.
One on the left, maybe running back, you would say Tracy and Chandler. Yes, they might get their touches and they might do okay, but that would be the kind of weak area for me over here. But I love the Daniels on the bench because again, it's one of those ones. If he ain't the guy, well, you're not starting him. You've got someone else plugged in, and if he is the guy, then you get him in, and then you've maybe got someone who's he starting quarterback on the left here, Johnny. Again, sorry.
That Prescott.
Since he's demon, so it's Prescott, yeah. So it's you could maybe get something for Prescott later on if someone's going for the title and's got an injury. They might give up something for Prescott.
Oh yeah.
So I really do like that team, the Dixon Heath team as well. I think that's very well picked, very well done. And Reeves, it's not, it's a decent enough team. And I love having Elliott and Moss on the bench. I think that's real strength at running back there, So
Oh yeah.
and strength at running back can take you a long, long way.
And then he also has Myers at receiver. Who else was the other receiver on the bench?
He only had one receiver. He's got Kraft, but he's only got one receiver on the bench.
One receiver. Ooh.
Kraft, yes. So he's not. He's
Well,
only got Myers at receiver. So it's
then you'll be plugging in running backs in the flex. That's fine. I mean, that's nothing wrong with that either.
No, absolutely not. 100%. And if Kraft starts getting the ball over, Kraft will have his weeks as well. There's no getting away from it. It's not all going to be Musgrave. Kraft will get touches. He done well last year too.
No, I like what these guys did. That's an interesting matchup for week 1.
Yeah, it'll be good to see how that comes out. We get one more here,
The
John.
last one. We've got the last one. We've got the Bonnie Rig Cheeseheads, Chris, and then you've got the Crew Juggernauts.
Bonnie Rig Cheeseheads.
The Bonnie Rig Cheeseheads. I've got Joe Burrow, Josh Jacobs, and Alvin Kamara, Derek Hill, Marvin Harrison. Obviously, you need to take it Hollywood Brown, Dallas Goddard, Austin Eckler, Tajay Spears, Dicker the Kicker, Nick Bolton, Zaire Franklin. Crew Juggernauts have got Tua, Derek Henry, Dave Montgomery, Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, Jalen Waddle, Kyle Pitts, DJ Moore, Rasheed Rice, Jason Sanders, Davis, and Edmonds as their defense.
I mean, the Crew Juggernauts have got a hell of a wide receiver room if Rice is playing all season long, I mean, Jefferson, Brown, keep going, Johnny.
Waddle,
Brown,
yeah.
Waddle,
Moore.
Wow. And there's another one down there as well. Keep going, Johnny.
Rasheed Rice.
And Rice, yes. So, I mean, that's a heck of a wide receiver room. There's some really good teams in this division, it has to be said. And obviously on the left, the Bonnie Rig Cheeseheads have got the Hollywood Brown problem, but outside of that, that's very strong as well. It slightly worries me. It's strength. I'm wanting to see on for the Bonnie Rig Cheeseheads. I'm wanting to see on the bench a couple of decent receivers because they're good bench running backs, but they're not really. You don't want to be starting.
Not really. They've got that.
No,
There's only Mitchell and Adam Thielen. There are only 2 receivers. They've got 3 defenders. That
slightly worries me that it's a little bit light at receiver.
Wow, they got Odunze on the bench.
Oh yeah, Odunze.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where Odunze has to be at the start. Is the thing. Smith and Jigba is a big name to be on the bench as well. Brandon Cooks, that's a great report. And after all the receivers that he's got plugged in at the starting lineup as well, that's a great team as well.
Yes.
If I'm picking holes in it, it's at running back, but I don't even know that I can do that too hard because he's got Brown there as cover.
Yeah.
Henry Montgomery, that's a real good team as well.
Yeah,
it's kind of overshadowing Bonnie Rig Cheesehead's team, which is very, very good as well. Just with maybe a bit light at receiver, as I say. But yeah, Crew Juggernauts is challenging for it, but I'm going to stick with my original decision, Johnny. I think the
Portland Lumberjacks.
I think the Portland Lumberjacks are strong.
Yeah, I'm going for them too.
So here's something I've been that's caught my attention since doing it this way. When we look at the spreadsheet, you see the names, but then when you see them like this, the teams look different. So like I know last I on paper I had the Glasgow Lightning right on paper, but now looking at it, you already picked the Portland Lumberjacks, and then I'm gonna go with the Dickens Heath Demons. I like what he
Yeah,
did
that
with
was a
his
good
team.
team too. Yeah, it was a good team too. That's why I like to look at it this way, just so you can kind of see it exactly in their positions, you know, and you don't need to scan through and
And
try and work
they
out
got
who's playing
they
what and how
got
many running backs are
three
there. And
they got three really really deep teams. I'm sorry, Garrett. Garrett, you're my boy, but you got some problems this year.
it's
Carolina
a good
Broncos, I
divisional
love you
team.
guys. I love you guys, but you got some tough neighbors in this
Real good,
division.
real good teams in here. Right,
Yeah, it's
let's
going to be a
take
hard
on to
division,
Division
this
3
one.
now, Johnny. Let's see the Division 3.
Markhead. This is where some of the teams go a bit weird, especially when you come to the Peterhead Bloody Jets. So first off, we've got the Chester Hurricanes against the Peterhead Bloody Jets. The Chester Hurricanes, you've got Lamar Jackson, Derek Henry, David Montgomery, Tyreek Hill, Cooper Cup, Jaden Reed, Sam Laporta, Xavier Worthy, Jordan Addison, Ed McPherson, Terrell Bernard, and Patrick Queen. On the other side, you've got Joe Barrow, Reese Hall, Zamir White, Brandon Ayuk, Roma Dunze, Oliver Brown, George Kittle, Ezekiel Elliott, Adonai Mitchell, Harrison Butker, Mason Crosby, and Aidan Hutchison.
Yeah, so I like what the Chester Hurricanes have done here. I've got to say, again, you know, do you know what? I'm seeing quite a lot of teams that have got Henry. When the teams that have got Henry, they tend to have followed it up with Montgomery for one reason or another. Maybe it's kind of just how they're kind of, you know, picking between the receivers and their backs and where they're picking them, and that's where these guys are falling. But I've seen Henry and Montgomery in the same team on
Oh yeah, a couple of
numerous
times, yeah.
occasions, for sure.
I think
But I like
there's
what.
3 drafts that Stroud has been backed up by Stafford in 3 leagues.
Yeah, is that right?
So, yeah.
That's but yeah,
I
I mean, I
thought
like
it
what
was
he's done there on Chester Hurricanes. Then you've got Hill, Cup, and Reed, which I think is an absolutely solid as a rock wide receiver. Starts, and then Laporta, obviously, you know, it's a no brainer. Really, he's going to be one of the top 5 tight ends again. You've got to think there's no reason why not. And obviously, Addison at the time of the draft would have been a very strong pick. You know, with McCarthy looking quite good and. You know, it's the difference that the quarterback makes, but Worthy, brilliant. Yeah, so I like what he's done there on the left. I think that's a very strong team. Marks is fine. It's, you know, he's Burrow, Hall, White. Yep. Ayuk at the time again. You didn't know that
Dunze.
the trade
That's it.
nonsense.
The ceiling's high for Dunze. It's just like you said, a lot of mouths to feed in Chicago.
Yeah, it's the floors too. You know, he's been drafted above where he should be for me for a rookie wide receiver with that many mouths to feed and a rookie quarterback. I think Roma Doomsday should be a kind of late pop pick to stick him in for this year. I think it's a great pick for Dynasty. I just think for this year there's a lot of mouths to feed, and as much as I do believe that Roma Doomsday will do well this year, and I think it'll be Keenan Allen that loses out, it could just as easily be a Doomsday.
Oh yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, I like his, you know, that it's. I've got no problem with Elliott there as well. I think Elliott will do absolutely just fine this year, but he's got a lot of
So
defenders on the bench, Mark.
about to say this is where I think Mark had 6 defenders. So he's got the 2 starting, then he's got Williams, Thibodeau, Walker, McKinney, Gardner.
He got 2. Yeah.
So it's
So
literally
much.
no wide receivers on the bench, but he does have 2 wide receivers in the flex. So he's got 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs there. Davis obviously not, but Ford is a
Ford.
starter as
Yeah,
well. You know, so
absolutely.
I mean, it's
But
crazy to have that many defenders on your bench, absolute lunacy. But you know, Mark is a machine of his own devices, isn't he, Johnny?
He is a bit, yeah.
I like
And
I like
on the
I
left,
like
Bench is okay on
Musgrave
the
and
other side.
Palmer.
Yeah.
I love
I think
Musgrave and
McMillan as
Palmer
well,
on the bench.
actually.
I think they're 2 very good ones on the bench. You know, McMillan might get some touches. You never know. Corum, if Williams goes down, Corum's going to be straight in there, and and getting a lot of touches, I would say, you know, so that's
So he's got 3
pretty
defenders.
decent.
So he's got 5 defenders in his team.
Yeah, 3 defenders. It's just a waste, you know.
Where's his
So now you've got
cornerbacks?
Corum as your only real cover at running back there, and that's where that kind of the weakness is shown for me. And then you've got
Week.
and
He's got week 5
Caleb
bye.
Williams on the bench. He's just not a quarterback that I would want sitting on my bench. He's really not. And Lamar Jackson, and when are you ever going to play Caleb Williams over Lamar Jackson?
Yeah,
in
well, it'll be
fantasy
week
football?
14 in his bye week.
On Lamar Jackson's bye week. That's about it.
Yeah, week 14.
So you're wasting a whole entire bench spot for 1 week that late in the season when you could just go and pick up a Baker Mayfield who'll do you
This late
just
in the
fine.
season, they might have already won the league. Oh, this
Williams,
is
you know.
Ports League.
Yeah, so I'm not at the bit, you know, there's again, both have got some good things about them, but I can't pick either of these two because I have seen a hole.
There we go. So we've got the Darlington Dragons against the Birmingham Master Chiefs. There you go, Boyd. You got to mention. The Darlington Dragons are Kyler Murray, Ethan Robinson, David H. Drake London, Tebow Samuel, Christian Kirk, Mark Andrews, Curtis Samuel, Tidy Spears, Dickory Kicker, Rickon Smith, and Alex Singleton. And the
Nice
Master
start.
Chiefs have got Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Zach Moss, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle, Calvin Ridley, Brock Bowers, Malik Neighbours, Chuba Hubbard, Jake Elliott, who you said to look on, and Shair.
Yeah, so do you know what I liked? I was liking the team on the left as it was running down. I love the running back room. I love the quarterback. I love the running back room. And then when we got to the flex spots, I just thought, oh, that's, you know, if that's what's in flex, you know, I'm very
Samuel.
cold on Kirk this year. I'm very cold on Kirk. Samuel could be anything, you know, he might be okay, he might do you well, but, you know, at the same time, there's a lot of ifs and buts in that wide receiver room at the moment. And Tajay Spears, again, he's going to get his touches, but if Pollard's really good, then they'll diminish. So, you know, to have him in starting spot worries me what's on the bench. And then I really like the other side though. Hubbard, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of, but he's certainly going to start very well. And I like him as a starter. Zach Moss as a starter as well. You know, who's on the bench, because these guys are two guys that, you know, come middle of the season might not be seeing much of the field. So who's on the bench?
Dobbins. Dobbins is the only other one.
Yeah, I mean,
Dobbins.
estimate is the back end of the season. If Williams isn't doing it, might get in, you know, might get a run. But the running back room worries me for that team there.
Oh,
He's deep on receivers, yeah.
Outside.
James Coleman.
And you've got, I mean, Coleman's the only one on that's, you know, that I'm jumping up and down about. Again, Kirk Cousins on the bench. I don't get why I have him. But Mims as well. I mean, how many 0 point? I mean, he literally had negative games last year. So, I mean, I love the starting lineup on the left hand side, the Darlington Dragons starting lineup, especially the running backs and the quarterback. And for the Birmingham Master Chiefs, it's the running back room that slightly scares me, just for, you know, Zach Moss is no certainty to be a season long thing.
And then Hubbard.
But I do love
Hubbard too. Hubbard's not a season.
I love Wilson. And I love Brock Bowers. So, you know, a lot of good things going on there, but running back scare me. And on the left hand side, the bench scares me a little bit.
Yeah, because him having Moss and Hubbard, that kind of, because Chase Brown and Moss, they're going to split that 60-40, 70-30.
And then when Brooks comes in, Hubbard's getting, you know, kind of, come playoff time, Hubbard's going to be getting Brooks is going to be getting all the touches, you know. Hubbard will be a second thought. I mean, he'll still get something, but the something that he's getting, you could cost you a playoff game because you still play him and he only gets you 4 points, you know.
Right.
There we go. So we're going to go with Port's team. White Porker against the Wakefield Forest.
Kendrick Miller.
So, no, he didn't get him, I don't think. Dak Prescott, Jonathan Taylor, Trey Benson, Puka Nakua, DJ Moore, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson, Troy Franklin, Lad McConkey, Brandon Aubrey, Derwin James, and Ernest Jones. Then the Wakefield Fortness, Patrick Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, Chris Olave, DK Metcalf, Chris Godwin, Evan Ingram, Najee Harris, Johan Dotson, Youngwei Koo, Fred Warner, and Brian Burns.
I'm worried for Pork. I'm worried for Pork in the sense that he's got Benson in as a starter and he's got someone else in there as a starting wide receiver that I can't remember now that was that scared me. And then Franklin in as a starter as well. That's
Franklin. He must have been
I hope
drafted like it was Dynasty.
let's see Pork's bench before we go any further here. So he's got
Remember, he picked Parsons up in the. He picked Parsons in the 402. Remember?
Oh yeah.
I'm a little bit worried for him, and he's not getting any wide receivers there.
No.
He's got a couple of rookie running backs that are. Yeah, I'm worried for Pork. I'm afraid. Sorry, Pork, but
I hope he pulls off a trade. He needs to pull off a trade.
Your team won't be in my top team, that's for sure. And I was liking the starting lineup of the other side though. It's I'm not liking the bench too much though. But apart if you take Godwin out of it, I love that. I think, and of course, when you see CMC, you know that they were first, maybe second at a push, but you know they were first or second in the draft, so it's always difficult to draft from there. You know, the second player that's coming in, it's never quite the same as kind of you look at two guys and you see, Gibbs and Williams, and you think, oh, that's two really good players, but it's always such a drop off between the first and the second, and the teams that draft first and second. So. I think he's done really well there to get McCaffrey, Jacobs, Olave, Metcalf,
And Mahomes is the quarterback. He has Mahomes, CMC, and then to pull off like a DK and Olave on the end of Jacobs, like that's.
These are guys that win you games, it's and then plug in anyone else. The injury's obviously helping Naj quite a lot, the injury for Warren, so that upgrades Naj considerably. So yeah, I mean, I like this kind of what he's done there from where he was drafting in the first team certainly, and I love Johnson on the bench and Williams on the bench and Watson on the bench. Watson will be fine. So I think he's got very good wide receivers there on the bench.
And he got Hawkinson to play in the second half of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a playoff winner. That's why you bring him in, and. Yeah, I mean Mayfield, I don't get, but yeah, I think the team on the right actually it's winning me over very much so. Wakefield 49, it's 49. He's a 49ers fan though, so that kind of puts me off it.
So next up, we've got the Norwich Mustard Men against the London Eagles from Canada. We've got Jalen Hurts, Kieran Williams, James Cook, CeeDee Lamb, Nico Collins, Amari Cooper, Dalton Schultz, Tony Pollard, Devin Singletary, Jake Moody, Zaire Franklin, and Nick Bolton. And on the other side for London Eagles, you've got Jordan Love, Isaiah Pacheco, James Conner, AJ Brown, Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, Dalton Kincaid, Brian Robinson, Cole Kmet, Greg Zerline, Miles Gallup, and Josh Hines Allen.
I like both of these teams.
Yeah,
I like the two quarterback picks in London Eagles. I like that. I like that, and it's Ingram and Kmet. I think have both got massive upside, so I do like that. And do you know the thing about picking them up? There are only so many tight ends that do have that upside. Or certainly, there's only so many that are going to perform and get those points. So if you've got two of them, it's keeping them away from your opponents as well. Who have to play at least one.
Yeah,
and I like that kind of tactic of it as well.
They were pretty balanced. Both sides are balanced in this.
Yeah, very much so.
Pollard and Singletary in the flex, I can live with that.
There's a couple of good receivers on the bench as well. At least the covers there. So Irving and Edwards-Helaire are not so important, but there you go. Yeah, Thomas and Lockett, fine bench for receivers.
Josh Downs, yep. And then Sennett on the bench.
So yeah, I do like the options there that they have given themselves in terms of, they've got those two running backs in the flexes at the moment, but they do have the options there of the receivers, a couple of good receivers there. and certainly the team on the right, they've given themselves a lot of running back options, but just
They
how
got what,
many of
Mike
them are going
Williams? There was Mike. I saw Mike Williams, Pearsall.
Yeah, Mike Williams there as well.
Greg Dortch is a sleeper. So I mean,
Yes, I mean, Dots could be anything, couldn't he? He could be the kind of number 2 in Arizona. No one really knows, so it could be him. I'm just pinning my hopes on it being Michael Wilson, so cold on
right.
Dots, but it very much could be Dots. There's no getting away from it. But yeah, run me up into the first team again, Johnny, the one on the right. On the Eagles, yeah, it's
Connor, Brown,
I do
Evans.
love what they've done there with the kind of love and Pacheco. I'm very high on. Indeed, he's in my team. Connor, I think, is going to have a great season. And yeah, the one thing I don't like about it is 2 Washington Redskins in the same, because that offense could be great if Daniels is good, but it's going to live and die by a rookie quarterback. Let's face it.
Who's on their bench?
But it's still good that it's not 2 receivers. It's still and he got Daniels on the team. Wow.
And Daniels on
But
the
like
team as
you
well.
got,
Yeah,
they got the wide receiver 1 and the running back 1 on the. I mean,
it's
essentially, it could be a stack if he plays all 3 of them and they're both getting catches and targets. I mean, it could work out. I like. I mean, both
Yeah.
teams look good. I would, me personally, give the edge to the mustard men, slightly, just a little bit.
Yeah, so would I. So would I. I would agree, and I do love the running back combination of Kyron Williams and James Cook. I think that's a wonderful RB1, RB2.
Mm-hmm.
I think they will both be big point scorers week in, week out.
Okay. Next up, we have the Nottingham Rebels against the Sandbach Satans. Nottingham Rebels are Anthony Richardson, Jameer Gibbs, Kenneth Walker, Marvin Harrison, Monty Adams, Kieran Allen, David Njoku, Joe Mixon, DeAndre Hopkins, Tammy Fairbairn, Tremaine Edwards, and Bobby Okereke. And Sandbach Satans, you've got Brock Purdy, Rashad White, Alvin Kamara, Justin Jefferson, Stephen Diggs, Jay Flowers, Travis Kelsey, T. Higgins, Aaron Jones, Daniel Carlson, and CJ Moore, Daniel Hunter, and CJ Mosley.
I could tell you what Craig is going to say. He's going to say he doesn't like Diggs on the right side and doesn't like Allen on the left.
It's one of those ones, that is, isn't it? But do you know what I like about the one on the
they're
right?
balanced. These are the two other good teams, though. I mean, they have those. Those are the 2 that stand out that can make is either boom or bust. But everyone else they have around them is pretty solid.
I love the Sandbach Satans, and the reason that I love the Sandbach Satans team here is because I know that, and you know that way, see, when you start going down, Johnny, and I'm watching, I'm thinking, oh, I love that, I love that, I love that, and then it gets to that one name, and you go, But see, when you go into one name on the right-hand side, but see, when you go down and you look at the flex spots, the 2 people that they've got in the flex positions, and you see it's T. Higgins and Aaron Jones, you've got an RB1 and wide receiver who, will be fighting for wide receiver 1's, positions in fantasy, with Burrow thrown to him. So I think that's got tremendous upside. When you look at the other side, you've got, Mixon, yes, absolutely, he should do absolutely. But then you've got Hopkins, and there's so many question marks around Hopkins, So I do think those flex spots tell a big story about the teams, So it's Allen and it's Hopkins on the left-hand side that just, I'm not fans of. So let's see what's on the bench to fill the holes.
I like Sutton, Gate Davis, Shakir, Chase Brown. Yeah, I like the bench on the right a lot more. Dallas Goedert.
Me too. I can't be having 2 defenders and a kicker on the bench and so cold on the Muth. So I think that they'll get decent cover at running back there on the left, but I don't get Rodgers on the bench either. Leave him in agency, he would stay there. But yeah, I agree with you, Everett. I like the bench on the right hand side here. So yeah, that's what's that team name again, Johnny?
Sandbach Satans.
Sandbach Satans. There, that's my favourite so far.
So we've got the Guildford Raptors against the Gorgie Vikings, Grotty. The Guildford Raptors, Jared Goff, DeAndre Swift, Raheem Mostert. Well, just stop after saying DeAndre Swift.
I'm out.
Michael Pittman, Devontae Smith, Kyle Pitts, Jalen Warren, who's going to be out, Eckler, Bass, Watt, and Winfield, and Grote's got CJ Stroud, Travis Etienne, Ramondre Stevenson, AJ Brown, Tank Dell, Rasheed Rice, Trey McBride, Nick Chubb, Javonte Williams, Justin Tucker, Nick Bosa, and Montez Sweat.
But, who's he going to have to come in for Chubb, because obviously Grote's on the right. Grote, he's going to have to replace Chubb, obviously. So, but yeah, I think he's actually starting lineup's pretty decent, Johnny. I mean, Williams is going to be at least start as the number one in Denver. Whether he keeps or not, it's a different matter. But if Rice is playing, it's a steal. Tank Dell, I love. Amon Ra, I love. Ramondre's going to do absolutely fine. Etienne's going to do fine. Stroud's, going to do fine. I've probably done all right there in the starting lineup. I hope he's blew it in the bench.
Yeah, just the team on the left, like Swift and Mostert. I can't. That's just RB1, RB2. That scares me for the long haul.
Yeah, me too. I couldn't be colder on the. Yeah, I'm very cold on that running back
receivers,
front.
though.
I like the receivers.
Yeah, the
Smith, Pittman, Chase.
team
Yeah.
was good. But then
And
the
then obviously they've
flex
lost
is scaring
Warren.
me as well, because Warren's got to
Warren
go.
and Eckler in the
Eckler,
flex. I'm not. Yeah.
there's every chance Eckler's finished, so that's a bit scary. But what are the benches like? You're telling me Grote's got a terrible bench.
Well, he's got
I like his receivers on the bench.
Charbonnet, Kendry Miller,
thank
he's got
goodness.
Polk, Baguette, Judy,
and
Johnson.
I like. Yeah, he finished strong.
I like those four.
Yeah, but on the
Those
left, I
three
like
are
Shaheed, and Njigba, Brandon Cooks. I would start Njigba and Shaheed over Eckler and Warren.
100%. I mean, he probably will. To be fair, it's the starting weeks are way away. So yeah, he does have sort of good cover there on the bench, at least the left hand side, so options there. And Grote's receivers and that are strong. It's his backs that are a problem for me. I mean, Charbonnet might be fine, but I mean, if you're a big Walker fan, I can't. You can't be totally on board with Charbonnet as well, and I'm a big Walker fan, so
this would be why Pork didn't get Condry Miller, because Grote got him.
Grote got him.
You might trade his best player for Kendry Miller. That will help Grote.
But yeah, I mean, I don't hate Grote's team. I've got to say that's been very disappointing. I like hating Grote's team, but he's actually done that pretty well, I think. Boys studying, the boys learning, Johnny. Boys learning.
Remember last year? I don't know the exact team, but McGonagall got Travis Kelce of Pork for 3 players, and one of them was Kendry Miller, because he wanted Kendry Miller. So Grote might just go knock on the door, get a decent player, and get rid of his Charbonnet, Miller, and somebody else, just to get just so Pork can get his Kendry Miller.
Can't imagine that Pork would be that dumb, but you never know.
He does love Kendry Miller.
You never know.
Who thought that when he gave away Travis Kelce?
I am going to take the team from the last game, the one with the Sandbach Satans for me here, Johnny. Please, thank you.
And
I'm going to go with the Birmingham Master Chiefs.
And I will go with the Norwich Mustard Men.
That was my second choice, was the Mustard Men, but yeah. There's a couple of good. There'll be 5 good teams in this division that'll be battling for the top spots, and then the rest will be middle of the table to lower.
Yeah, I'm not
going to be a gap in
ruling
this
anybody out at this stage. At the end of the day, everyone's got there are good parts to everybody's team, because that's how they're drafted. Everyone gets some superstars, and it's all about managing the other part of it, the kind of ones that are behind, and not being too sold on your guy. Your big guy, if he's not doing well, put him on the bench. Don't think you have to play your second round pick, your third round pick. You don't. You can bench them if someone else is doing better.
And then try to look for trade.
I wouldn't rule anybody out at this point.
A trade or two could just change the dynamics of a team.
Absolutely. You know, a couple of pickups, a couple of big pickups from agency, because there are players in agency.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well,
You
yeah,
going for the fourth division, Johnny?
what do you call it? Cam Akers got picked
Whenever
up over
Vidal's been
Vidal.
dropped to agency.
Oh, Cam Akers in
Oh,
Houston now,
Vidal.
right? Yeah. So Damian Pierce has
Yeah.
his work cut out for him.
All right, yeah, he's
It's,
not looked great anyway.
it
So
very much puts me off
and-
Damien Pierce as a handcuff to Mixon. It really does because of that.
So we're on the Dwarf Estate. I deleted the wrong one. So we've got the Rhino Cardinals
So
against the
last,
Blue Toon Texans. So is that Michael? Blue Toon Texans.
yeah,
Amos.
Michael.
So you got Darryl Urquhart, you've got Trevor Lawrence, Bijan Robinson, David Montgomery, Marvin Harrison, Chris Olave, Calvin Ridley, George Kittle, Jake Ferguson, Jameson Williams, Justin Tucker, Tremaine Edwards, and Singleton. And Michael's gone for Burrow, Williams, Pacheco, Chase, Smith, Thomas, Bowers, DeAndre Swift, Jackson McIntyre, Tyler Bass, Will Anderson, and Hines Allen. I quite like his team.
I was
Back
loving
to Smith.
Michael's team to Devontae Smith. Said Devontae Swift.
Yeah.
I think I can just about forgive him it though because it is such a strong team there. Look at that. Chase,
Yeah.
Smith, and Thomas and wide receivers, and I love the running backs.
And then you got the stack with Burrow. I like that.
That is a nice one.
I do like the Burrow stack, the Burrow Chase stack. I think that's you know, it's a points machine. That is a stack that can literally win you a game. You know, if your opponent has a bad week, that stack could be enough to put you over the line. You know, without anybody else. So
Oh yeah.
do like that. I mean, I don't. I quite like the team on the left as well. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
I don't
I
see
like the
any
Harrison,
issue with
Olave,
it
and
whatsoever.
Ridley. I like. There's a lot. That's a high ceiling there for those three guys.
Very much so. Very much so. You know, I don't hate Kittle and Ferguson both being in the team because both are tight ends that get wide receiver production. You know, it maybe worries me a bit that Williams is a starting flex. So what's there on the bench? But certainly it looks absolutely fine to me.
I've got start
See,
2.
here comes a problem with the team on the left.
Yeah.
It's got Lewis Rees-Sammet on the bench, who's never going to see the light of day. It's got Stafford and Mayfield both on the bench. No need. Charbonnet, it's got
Douglas.
I like Downs and
it's got
Douglas.
How long is
them
Downs
two
out for?
defenders.
How long is Josh Downs out for?
I don't even think it matters, to be honest with you. I think Josh Downs is one of those fabled guys from Indianapolis that, you know, is supposed to go and do something but never actually does. There's been loads of them in Indianapolis, I'm telling you. It's where the wide receivers go to die.
Well, he
Well,
did, he actually did better with Mayfield. Not Mayfield, Minshew.
Yeah,
I like Polk, Robinson, Mike Williams. I like Jerry Jeudy. I like the receivers core and the backups. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And Robinson on the bench is a great one to have on your bench there. So that's a super move as well there. You know, and
That's a
Bo
starting
Nix,
running back.
again,
That's a
another
starting
one.
running back on the bench that you can plug in anytime.
You know, so he can get rid of Swift. I really like what Michael's done there. I've got to say, Johnny, I think that Michael's done really well here. I really like that team, the Blue Toon Texans.
Then obviously we've got the Gloucester Wolfpack against the Knockout Knockouts. Knockout Knockouts are new this year. They replaced the team that didn't want to play anymore. So, and then we've got Scott Wolf King, who did run last year. So we've got Kyler Murray, Travis Etienne, Devin Achane, CeeDee Lamb, Malik Neighbours, Kean Coleman, Dallas Goddard, James Cook, Samir White, Jake Moody, and Pace and Shear. And the knockouts have got Anthony Richardson, Derek Henry, Aaron Jones, Tyreek Hill, Drake London, Mike Evans, The Muth, Christian Kirk, Mostert, Zerline, Bolton, and Bernard.
I like the starters on both teams. They're ready. They're ready for a shootout. This is going to be a good game week 1.
It
I
is.
mean, Etienne, A-Chain, Lamb. I mean, the upside of A-Chain and the upside of Lamb, the upside of Neighbours.
And
You
Etienne.
know,
And Coleman.
that's
Go that way.
that's massive. You know, I think that the team on the left, I think the team on the right is really, really good, but
Yeah.
the one on the left is knocking it out of the park for me here. I think that's it. I mean,
And
James
then
Cook.
look at the
flex.
flex. Look at the flex.
How are you getting
James
Yeah,
Cook
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 and
and
Zamir White.
and Zamir White? That's what puts me off the flex. Puts me off on the right, and obviously the Mutin at tight end. That scares me witless if he's a starting tight end.
Purdy and
Daniels on the
Daniels.
bench. I
Well, he's
love
got
having
Singletary on the
Daniels on the
bench.
bench.
So
Singletary on the
and it
bench.
goes to
That's
go
Jalen
back. I've
Warren,
got
unfortunately for him.
amazing. He's got Jermaine Burton, Rashid
I
Shaheed.
like.
Bateman,
Sinnott.
Burton.
Yeah, I really like I like the bench on the right hand side here. The bench on the left, it's a wee bit ho hum for me. You know, Allen, I don't see him how much production he's honestly going to get. Thielen, he's going to be much quieter than good. You know, week on week. Bateman's just a scary thought, isn't it? Orton, you know, he'll have a couple of weeks, I'm sure, and then a couple of defenders on the bench. And I do like the starting line up there, but I do think the bench is quite weak. That's what would put me off the team on the left. The team on the right's got, you know, when you've got Singletary on your bench, that's a sign
Yeah.
of strength. You know, that's a number one running back.
This is a list. So he's got Ben Sinnott, who could end up being the number one tight end for Washington, but you don't know what it's going to be like.
And
He
that's
has his
it.
quarterback.
You know, it could be there is
He
upside
could
there
be.
for having them on the bench. You know, there's a lot
When
of
I was
bench
making,
upside there, so I don't hate them being on the bench.
I have to admit, when I was making the videos for the Pez and Pork show, Ben Sinnott did look bloody good. But then obviously you're only getting the highlights. But he did look
Yeah,
good.
of course.
Yeah.
And obviously,
But
all depends on the quarterback as well. That's but obviously usually the quarterback's best friend is the tight end. So.
Oh yeah. But I think they said they're gonna play Zach Ertz first, and then Zach Ertz might start the first 2-3 weeks. Yeah.
You drop it, you break his Zimmer frame, and that'll be him out.
Because what's his face? The old Arizona head coach. It's now the offensive coordinator. He's now the offensive coordinator at Washington. I'm pretty sure Zach Ertz is sleeping with his wife or something like that because he seems to be the starter for him all the way. But see if I could have Gloucester's go right up, Johnny, go right up to the top. See if I could have Gloucester's starting lineup and knockouts bench. I think that's a super team. Knockout. Sorry, yeah. If I could have their bench and Gloucester's starting lineup, that's a knockout. That Gloucester's my favourite one so far. No, it's not. In fact, the Bluetooth Texans is my favourite one so far. That was really good.
So up next, we've got the Manchester Spinners, Nick, against Lagersville Lemons. That's Brian. That's Pork's friend. So we've got Jordan Love, James Conner, Javonte Williams, Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Stefan Diggs, Dalton Kincaid, DJ Moore, D. Higgins, DeAndre Hopkins, Dustin Hopkins, who's out, but don't know for how long. Ernest Jones, Devin Lloyd. Then you got Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey, Rashad White, Jalen Waddle, Christian Cooper Kupp, Rasheed Rice, Evan Ingram, Jordan Addison, Tony Pollard, Jake Elliott, Fred Warner, and Hamilton. How long is Hopkins out for? Because it's on the minor
injury. Zero. You plug in a kicker 5 minutes before kickoff, job done. You know that matters less than zero. I do like that team. I like that. You know, it's obviously I'm not a fan of Diggs in there, but you know, Connor and Williams, it's not the worst running back room I've ever seen, but it does allow you to have Jefferson and Wilson. And if Aaron Rodgers is 80% Aaron Rodgers, then Gareth Wilson should have a massive season. And Jefferson, I think he has the mouth that will be fed in Minnesota. I think it's, you know, he's the type of guy that you throw it to when he's in double coverage because he still goes and gets it. And that's going to be a godsend for Sam Darnold. So yeah, I like that, and I like what it's doing
Thanks,
there.
Daniel.
And the right hand side, it's I think that's a very good wide receiver room as well, and running back. You know, McCaffrey, White,
And Josh
Washington,
Allen's the
Rice.
quarterback. How do you have Josh
Josh
Allen,
Allen's the quarterback.
CMC, Rashad White, Waddle, Cup, and Rice? I like it. I like that first six there.
Remember, Cup was going in about the 4th round at this point. You know, he's went right up in the drafts now, but he was going late at this point. So yeah, running's down a bit further, Johnny, to see the rest of that one again. Yeah, Rice and see Addison. I'm very,
Yeah, that's
very
the
cold on
only.
Addison now,
And
and Pollard.
I'm okay with Pollard in the flex because the role he's going to play is going to be what we used to seeing him when he was in Dallas. So he'll get his 15 to 20 based off
Yeah,
screen passes and things like that.
I just worry what he's going to do with him. You know, he had a better line in front of him in Dallas, and he done nothing with him there last season. You know, when he got that big chance. But yeah, I mean, I get it. And Spears will get plenty of touches as well, so he
Yeah.
won't be the number one. So yeah, I've got no issue with him being in there. He wouldn't be in my flex, but I can see why people are still plugging him in it, and obviously, you know, still got a bit of faith in him having something left.
He got Josh
What's the
Allen in the
benches, Johnny?
301. He got Josh Allen in the 301 in this division.
Was
Oh,
it?
wow.
Well, it's back end of the second, isn't it? That's where they should be going, quarterbacks in a one quarterback league. So we got. I love the running back options on the team on the left here.
Yeah,
Tracy
Tracy.
Davenport.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Williams as well. And Levis is another one that I've got no problem putting him on the bench as a quarterback because if he is what they think he is and he's flying, then, you know, he's a good man to plug in.
Whoa, 3 Green Bay at the end.
Flex. I'm not a big fan of both Musgrave and Calf, but
Kraft.
I guess it's one way to go and make sure you know you're going to get you've got them both type thing. But I love Wicks. I love Wicks being on the bench. It's so I really like the bench on the left. The one we hold 2 tight ends, but not so sure I'm the biggest fan of the one. I mean, I'm cold on Myers. I'm cold on Hopkins. Corley's I can't see being much this year. There's certainly options, or there are options that can be played, you know. So yeah, they're not awful. You know, I think they're both fine teams. They're not my favourites, but I think they're both fine teams. Bluetooth still leading though.
Oh, you go, yeah. So Nick picked up Hopkins. You obviously didn't draft a kicker, so you picked up Hopkins.
Earlier drop him, they'll pick up another one.
And Mike J dropped Jordan Mason and picked up Johan Dotson. No, dropped Dotson and picked up Mason, obviously with the hangman.
I would have left
Next
Mason.
up we have.
I would have left Mason on in agency.
Yeah, I can't imagine. You know, Dotson's one that probably should be on someone's bench somewhere because he could be a big thing. But he's the type of player that you go looking for after week one. You know, when he has a big week. Well, there's always players that has a big week one and are sitting on the agency. You know, and it's a big rush to get there. It's you know,
So
getting the right ones and the ones that are going to be consistent with it. That's a big thing. Anyway, who we got here, Tony?
The Birmingham Bears also joined this year after somebody left, and this is actually Dick and Chief Demon's son, Jack. Okay. So it's a father-son, but they're in third and second and fourth division. So Jack is against the Richmond Reds. So you've got Lamar Jackson, Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara, Deebo Samuel, Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, Sam Laporta, Travis Kelce, Christian Watson, Jacoby Myers, Bobby Wagner, and Levante David. And the Richmond Reds, Caleb has got Dak Prescott, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Michael Pittman, DK Metcalf, Amari Cooper, Joe Mixon, Hollywood Brown, Daniel Carson, TJ Watt, and Aiden Hutchinson.
Obviously, we need to see a tight end for Richmond Reds. It's probably on the bench. And what's going to replace Hollywood before we can comment on that one properly. But I like what the Birmingham team here's done.
Yeah, I was Laporta and Kelce, and then you have Kamara, Walker, Lamar Jackson. I like it. That's a lot of points. That's a lot of points on that side.
Jack started the Port on the first round, Kelsey in the second round. This is the one that's like tight end.
Ah, right, okay, yeah. So when you see it like this, I do like it. I mean, obviously Keenan Allen, I'm not a fan of, but Christian
think he was-
Watson's on flex here, so he can be plugged in, and I think Watson will do just fine as long as he's fit. It's fitness that's his problem.
I
And
think he was a
yeah, but
109.
for the right hand side, I need to see who's going to replace Hollywood and who's for tight end.
Cortland
Sutton's
Sutton.
there, Leggett's there, so
Well, he still
yeah, there's
doesn't
definitely
have a tight
options
end.
there.
So
So many defenders on that team.
Yeah, just a lot of defenders and not having obviously, they'll pick up a tight end from agency, and there are often, decent tight ends sitting in there, but that would slightly worry me
Yeah,
that the tight end room is
I-
so shy, and especially with them getting extra points,
I like the Ty Chandler, Brandon Cooks, Lockett, Samuel, and Robinson. That's nice. That's a solid bench.
It's that they've all got some upside, they all have the upside. So yeah, absolutely, and they're in the right spot though, they should be on the bench at this moment in time. And I think it's
he's
good
got Brooks
strength,
for
and then
later
you've
on.
got Corum there for Williams and Brooks to come in when he's good to go. I don't again Tua's one that I just don't get being on the bench, because if you ain't starting Tua now, you're never starting him. It's Lamar, so week 14 again. Yeah, I do like what the team on the right here's doing, and I like that they've got the options for Hollywood Brown there.
So if Tua only plays in week 14, he's playing against the Jets. But at least he's at home.
So
But that'll be a hard one. Yeah, but I do like the Birmingham Bears on that one, to be honest.
Yeah, I saw the left hand side. Yeah, the Birmingham Bears. I really liked what they were doing.
So up next, we've got Cork Red Army, Suarez Power. We've won a few leagues for him, and then you've got Adam, the Plymouth Assassins. They used to be called Plymouth something else, but now they're Assassins. So the Cork Red Army are Jalen Hurts, Josh Edwards, Chase Brown, AJ Brown, Devontae Adams, Brandon Ayuk, David Njoku, Chris Godwin, Deontay Johnson, Harrison Butker, Rickon Smith, and Bobby Rike. Adams gone for Justin Herbert, Najee Harris, Najee Spears, AJ Brown, Tank Dell, Roma Ducey, Trey McBride, Mark Andrews, Dalton Schultz, Evan McPherson, Ferry Lucon, and Zaire Franklin.
Where does start? Both running back rooms scare me. If that's it, the running back 1 and 2, both running back rooms scare me. And now Naj, I like Naj. I think he's going to have a great season.
Najee.
Is he my RB1?
Spears in the RB2 scares me. I can see him in the flex, but not in the top 2.
And Brown and Edwards as well. I mean, the Gus Bus is an injury waiting to happen, and Brown's very reliant on Moss being terrible, or Moss not being very good. So
Got the Hurts
that
against
does
the
worry
Brown
me a
stack.
bit. I do love the Hurts Brown stack. Yeah, that's a very good point, Johnny. But I can't like either running back room here.
I have to admit, though, I do like
look at the tight ends.
Assassins tight ends.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. McBride, Andrews, and
Schultz.
Listen, it might work.
Nice
It
one.
might work.
Yeah. Good
They
chance.
are all catching tight ends. It might work, I mean, I would rather have Andrews in a flex spot than Godwin. I'm not, I would rather have Schultz in that flex spot than Godwin. So it might work. But what are these benches like? That's a big thing. Because there's some weakness in the specifically.
I like these two defenders as well. In fact, I like all. They're all pretty
good.
So
technically he has a Jared Goff, Amon-Ra stack when he does play them together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Khalil Herbert, Tyler Algier.
And Herbert,
Palmer, Dobbs. Oh, we got one. We got a nice team over here.
He's got running backs, but I'm worried about. He's got wide receivers. I'm worried about the running back.
This is the one with 3 kickers.
Yeah. So
Fairbairn, Sanders, and Butker. I think it is. You're not going to drop Butker, so yeah.
So I'll rule out Cork Red Army right now for me. There's too many kickers on the bench, wasted spots, and
the damn thing is he's got 3 good kickers as well. And it's not as if they're bad kickers. He's got 3 good kickers, but you're
No.
only going to be able to play one.
But
So,
yeah, you can only ever play one. As I said, Dobbs and Palmer, the team on the right here's got a great bench for wide receivers, and they've got a good starting lineup wide receivers as well. My only worry is Algier and Herbert is the only cover at running back, and the running backs are Spears and Nash.
Yeah.
you know, like you say, Naj,
That's not,
the thing is, though, that as tight as if the tight ends are the catchers that you think they can be, they might cover the discrepancy in the running backs.
yeah, I mean that's the thing, and that's I do love that tight end tactic, and I'm very interested to see how it plays out throughout the season, and I'll be very interested to see if he continues to play, kind of 2 and 3 tight ends week in, week out. I'm very interested to see how that tactic works out because it's not one I've ever played before.
Well, last year, a lot of the teams that were in the top did play 3 tight ends.
I can see that with the extra half point for them catching it, it's big.
But you see, it's a high risk because he took the extra wide receivers, but doesn't have any running back room. But like it's still early. We can see a trade. We never know what's gonna happen in the next couple of weeks.
And though with hogging those tight ends, you can get trades for them definitely.
So the final one
The
is
very
the
last
Fullwood
one
Patriots against the Bangham Sharks. We've got Sean Fleming there.
Oh
So
yeah,
apparently that's the logo for his work. So it took ages to get
okay,
the
fair
logo.
enough.
So
He's a brewer. He brews beer.
Yeah, you got Fullwood, CJ Stroud, Josh Jacobs, Ramondre Stevenson, Puka Nakua, Nico Collins, Hayden Reid, Cole Kmet, Zach Moss, Trey Benson, Brandon Aubrey, Micah Parsons, and Matt Crosby. On the other side, you have Patrick Mahomes, Brees Hall, Jameer Gibbs, Safe Flowers, George Pickens, Lad McConkey, Kyle Pitts, Ezekiel Elliott, Xavier Worthy, Younghoe Koo, Andrew Minfield, and Jeremy Bates. Jay Bates.
Yeah, I was liking Fullwood Patriots right down to you said Trey Benson. But I mean, I get it. I do like it, but my problem with it, Reid and Jacobs, I'm not a big fan of having a running back and a wide receiver from the same team. I just feel like, I get that both will get points, but I just don't think both can maximise their points. If one is having a massive game, the other one inevitably is suffering because of it.
Yeah.
Happy to have them both in my team. I don't like starting two, so I don't tend to go for it much.
I like the receivers, Flowers, Pickens, McConkey. I'm good on. I just don't know about being one of the top 3 receivers on my team. That's a reach.
So what do you think about Pitts? How do you think Pitts is going to? Is he going to sting you again this year, or is he going to have a good year?
I think Pitts will be better than last year, for sure.
So do I.
I just don't see him being top 5. But
so do I. That's exactly where I'm at, Everett. I agree.
He is. I would say you can start him every week with no problem, especially with Cousins. That should be fine.
Yes, I mean, there will be weeks where he hurts you for sure, but I agree with you. I think he'll be fine, but I don't think he'll be knocking out the park brilliant. I don't think he's going to become a top 5 tight end, not this year anyway. But yeah, I mean, I think that, that's aside, I think that Sean's actually done really well here. I quite like that starting lineup, in terms of there's nothing jumping out at me to say that it's awful. I think it's very strong, it's very solid, it's very well spread. Not liking the start with his bench, right enough.
Well, I don't mind Sanders. He could be okay, but Pearson, Vidal, Cousins, Taysom Hill, Austin.
Yeah, I don't mind any of them. I just mind having them all. It's.
I do love Thibodeau, but really not in this week.
You would be plugging any one of those 3 rookies at the top of Sean's bench there. If Vidal, Pearson, Sanders, you would be plugging them in with, and you would be worried about plugging them in. You wouldn't be comfortable plugging them in. You'd be doing it through injury, and hoping that you got something whereas not expecting anything. I would rather have like the likes of. I mean, we've seen like Dobbs on the bench a lot. We've seen Sutton on the bench a lot. These guys that you can plug into your team and you're going to
Right.
get points from them. That's what I like to see on a bench,
So it's an extra
So
kicker.
I'm not the biggest fan of Sean's bench here. Eckler's a decent one to have on the bench. Taysom Hill again, it's picking the right weight, and Mooney's a good one to have on the bench.
Yeah.
Fine with that. But the bench on the left-hand side here, there's a couple of defenders and a kicker, so that's three kind of spots taken up with those
Who's the starting
positions.
quarterback on the right side? Who's the starting quarterback?
Mahomes.
Mahomes. Okay, yeah, you're gonna play Mahomes every week over Cousins.
So why have
Then
Cousins? Why have him?
Well, is Mahomes not? Is it by week 6 or something daft like that? Yeah,
No,
so
it's
by
11,
week
I
6.
think. Or is it by week
By
6?
week
But
6.
it doesn't matter. You just pick someone up from it. I mean, maybe I guess he'll sit him there till by weeks and then he'll bring someone in at that point. But it's who's going to be there at that point is the question that you've got much better chance of getting someone now and taking
You
someone
never
at
know.
agency
You might get
value.
somebody
That's
lose
just
a
me, though.
quarter. You might get somebody lose a quarterback in week 7, then you'll trade Kirk Cousins.
That's just
Yeah.
Well,
If
I
Cousins
don't
starts
see
the
anyone
season
giving
well,
you. But what are you going to go and ask for Kirk Cousins? Because I'm sorry, but if I'm looking at Baker Mayfield in the agency, if I'm staring at Geno Smith in the agency, if I'm staring at the Panthers quarterback in the agency, Bo Nix is sitting in some agencies. If I'm sitting staring at them in agency and you come at me and say I want blah blah for Kirk Cousins, I'm going to laugh you out the room. I'm going to say, don't be silly. I'll just go with Bo Nix. I'll just go with Geno Smith. Why would I give up something for Cousins? Would be my look at that,
Oh, Cousins was a good machine last year for the points, but then he wasn't a better team. But yeah.
And it's, I mean, but the point difference is going to be that minimal. That are you wanting to give up? I mean, who's going to come to you and say, I want, Jalen Warren? That's not, but someone's going to come to you and say, I want Josh Jacobs. I want, half decent receiver. I want Jackson Smith and Jigba, something like that. And you're not going to give that up for Cousins. There's just no way. When you can pick one up from the agency, it's going to be not that far worse.
Yeah.
Well, you just have to find a Kirk Cousins fan that will give you anything for him, which does happen in fantasy. It does happen in fantasy football, Greg. So anything can happen.
Listen,
But
Cousins was a
this might not
massive
be a trading league
scorer
anyway.
there as well. He was a massive scorer there as well. Cousins, he really was. He was a massive scorer at times, So I can definitely, I see his advantage, but it's a one quarterback league, so I just don't see anyone paying that much up from Bluetoon Texans, Johnny. Bluetoon Texans. I've not changed my mind on Michael's team.
I'm going to go with the Birmingham Bears.
And I'm taking the Gloucester Wolfpack.
That was another one that I was that I liked a lot. So yes, that's Seth. I think that's 3 good choices.
Yep.
And that's us, gentlemen. That is all 8 divisions.
8.
4 and 4.
All
8 divisions now. But we have looked through every single team in the league. You've all had a mention. We've looked through all your teams. We've said some nice stuff. We've said some bad stuff.
And John, I have picked your team to win the division, so you can leave a nice comment now.
It's down to you guys now to either prove us right when we were saying nice things, or stick it to us when we're saying bad things.
Exactly.
Right? So please, if I've said something about your team and you've thought, do you know what, I'm going to get you, come on and tell me. Come on and tell me during the season, because I'm ready for it. I hope you do.
Yeah, and now and then now looking through all the divisions, it's like I have to go through the gauntlet again. In Division 1, I gotta go through this gauntlet. I my first, last year was the first year, and I looking at all the teams, I was like, man, I had to go through some heavy hitters last year to make it to the championship.
Well, that's how you're always
going to do it. Top. You have to do it again.
There's no mugs in this league, There's absolutely no mugs in this league. It's all on.
Yeah.
So the season kicks off is it not this weekend? Next weekend? Are we a week away?
2 weeks.
Yeah. 2 weeks. Are you wanting to
week
do a
away,
show
so
next week, or you
well,
want to
we
leave it
can do a
until the
show
season
next week, a
starts?
catch up and a wee chat on what players are hot and what players are not, and etc. Maybe pick a couple of players that we've all got our eye on, that we've all drafted quite a lot of, and explain why. We'll run through that kind of stuff next week, eh?
That sounds
Works for
good.
me.
Do you fancy joining on again, Everett?
I'm here.
It
Just
should
let me
be.
know.
It shouldn't be 2 hours long if we're only doing a couple of players, so that's not too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for coming on
Gentlemen,
again. It's been fun.
I appreciate the invite.
And we'll
thanks
see
very
you all
much,
next
everyone.
week.
See you next week.
Till next time.